Hey guys, welcome to another video from Historic Militaria. Today we're going to be looking at something that I have really always kind of wanted to get my hands on just because I think they are really neat and you do not see these very much. This is a Soviet RPG-43 grenade, and obviously there's a couple examples here in various states of completion, and let's just jump into it. The RPG-43, as its name implies, was introduced and adopted in 1943 as a replacement for the RPG-40, which was an earlier kind of stick grenade, anti-tank grenade that the Soviets had been using against sort of the earlier German tanks to some good effect. But as German tanks got better, of course, during the war, by 1943, the RPG-40 was pretty ineffective. So along came the RPG-43. And this is a really large grenade. It is heavy. It's got something like 1.35 pounds of high explosive, generally TNT, in it. And these were used to destroy pretty much any German tank at the time. But they took a lot of guts to use, which the Soviet soldiers definitely were not lacking in. So just to give a little bit of overview of what these look like, you've got your handle right here, which is just wood, and then you've got your steel body, and you've got your head here, which would be full of explosives. And this one has still got the original Soviet label on it, which is sort of your instructions for use. And I'll be really honest, I have not translated this. I do know it is Soviet. I do know that this is Russian for TNT, to denote this as a TNT-filled grenade. And it is also marked on the back here with the type of grenade it is, which is the Bomba RPG-43. So this would be a standard one from World War II. The way these would work is you would actually pull this safety pin right here. Now, I'm not going to go pulling pins on these. These are original, pretty old grenades, and I'm not really sure that the pin's going to go back and all that good stuff, and I just have a bad feeling about pulling pins on grenades, even though these are inert. Still not something I'm going to do. You pull this pin, and this frees the safety lever right here, and that goes and flies off. And then, I'll show you on this guy, you've got your cone, which is right here. This comes loose and this flies back, and there would be two strips of cloth attached to this, which would also be attached to this, and you can actually see a little bit of strip of cloth still left in this one. This would fly to the back, and you'd have this right here attached to your head of your hand grenade, and it would stabilize it as it would fly, and your head of your hand grenade would hit at a pretty much straight on angle like this is how you'd want it to hit, and it would just detonate just from the force of the hitting, and hopefully you hit the tank hard enough to make it go off. Sometimes if you didn't throw it hard enough, or if it didn't hit hard enough, it would just bounce right off. So it would hit and it would actually explode, and this one relied on a hollow charge rather than just a high explosive for its power in stopping a tank. So the warhead in here is actually a shaped charge, which is sort of a conical shape. Without going into all the physics of it, it's a conical shape that will center the blast in one very small area at a very high rate of speed, and that will penetrate armor just based on the kinetic energy. And once it penetrates with that kinetic energy and the blast of that very narrow stream of molten metal and explosive, hopefully it'll disable the crew. That's the idea, and you've stopped your tank with a hand grenade. The RPG-43 was actually the standard Soviet anti-tank weapon and the main anti-tank weapon in the later parts of World War II, and it was actually used by a number of Warsaw Pact countries as well. There are Polish examples, there's a whole bunch of other countries that used old Soviet stocks of these. They were actually used up until the 1990s by Georgia, the former Soviet Republic. They were also used in combat during the Israeli-Egyptian War of 1973. They were used against Israeli tanks to various degrees of effect. But again, I'm not going to say the days of this grenade are over. They are still possibly in use in various third world countries or various little revolutionary movements that have some of these still lying around. The ones you're looking at here are original Soviet World War II examples. And this one has just been unscrewed just to kind of show you. This we just screw onto your head right there, and you just screw that on and your grenade would be good to go. Here is one of the detonating parts that actually fell out of this one. It's got a spring in there that would start your detonation train when you threw the grenade. Anyway, just a very interesting grenade. You don't see a lot of these floating around in the United States. I had one heck of a time getting my hands on one to do a video on, let alone 2.5 of these. But just give a closer look at this nice example of one. Again, you've got your standard wood handle with your pin, and you just pull that and your handle comes off here, and then this slides down to the end of your wood handle, and then this one actually does have the cloth strips still in it. You can sort of see them. You can also feel it when you move it around. Again, don't like pulling pins on grenades. And this would then fly. This whole entire thing would sort of expand and then fly and then hit at the straight on, and it would hopefully disable your tank. And just to give you an idea of the label here, that is the original Soviet label that these would have on them. And just a very, very cool grenade that, as I said, not many around the United States. So I hope you've enjoyed taking a brief look at the RPG-43. And always, if you've got one of these, if you know more about them, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that know more about them, I'd love to hear some comments or any corrections or anything that you'd like to add in the comment section. And like and subscribe. We'll be looking at a whole bunch more grenades, helmets, Mauser broom handles, and guns of all sorts. Thanks for watching.